welcome back to the show. Today we have Tom Hunt. He's the co-founder at Ask Tina. Tom, welcome back to the show.
A pleasure to be here. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you back on the show. I think what you guys are doing with Ask Tina is really interesting. But maybe before we kind of get into that, let's maybe get to know you a little bit better and kind of just quickly cover your background and kind of where you grew up, where you went to school.
Sure. So I am from a small town in the west of England, but then went to study in London chemistry at Imperial College, apparently one of the best schools in the world for science. Anyway, and then after that, I sort of followed what my mum and my friends were doing, and or what my mum wanted me to do, and what my friends were doing, and what my brother had done, and like go and work in the city. So I went to work for Ernst & Young. I went to work for Accenture. That are large corporations that provide professional services to businesses. And so I did that for 3 years, but never really liked it. I never really cared about it. Like, I enjoyed parts, but I didn't really care. And then by fluke, myself and my two friends started an e-commerce store in 2012. And then I kind of got the bug, like, oh, you can actually have fun with people that you like, help other people that you don't know, and then get paid for it. And so when I realized that, like, everything shifted, and my focus completely changed from doing like the minimum amount of work for this corporation to trying to add the maximum amount of value for other people in a specific niche via an entrepreneurial venture.
Interesting.
And that really has brought us to where we are today, with probably 10 to 15 different small online businesses and a couple of bigger ones. But then that's led us to sort of where we are today with Tina.
Sure. So I know you've got it, like you mentioned, you've done kind of a bunch of startups and whatnot, and I kind of really want to focus on Ask Tina. So what exactly is it, and why did you decide to kind of start it up?
Sure. So my partner James and I, my business partner, we're trying to approach the problem of the human to bot interaction actually being valuable for the human, right? There are countless bots out there today. Few you actually come away thinking, oh, that was a very valuable interaction. And so we actually tried to address that problem directly without massive volumes of training data, like a classification problem, like the human says something, the bot puts it into a category and then gives a response.
Sure.
And we did that in some of the first versions of Tina, so Tina would understand a basic admin task and delegate that to a human. Now, that was the first version. But that understanding and delegating was very, very weak with that classification method. And so now we've taken a slightly different approach to building a human-to-bot interaction that is actually valuable, and that is by capturing loads and loads of human-to-human interaction data within a database, and then using that to train an algorithm. So we can sort of translate as opposed to classify.
Got you.
And so the mechanism or the business model that we have to do this is to give experts, we're not entirely sure on the vertical yet, so we're sort of testing different verticals, experts in a specific vertical, this piece of code that can sit on their side. They can interact with people and have their expert conversations through this software that enables them to collect some money from the person that they're teaching or educating, us taking a commission, but at the same time, everything's being stored in our database. So in the future, we can actually train a bot to be effective.
Sure. No, I think that's interesting. And last time we kind of spoke, it's interesting to see kind of the transition, right, of how you guys launched something. If I remember correctly, you guys launched the first version of Tina within a few weeks or like a month-ish, right?
Yeah.
It was pretty quick.
Yeah, correct. But back in April, we went from idea to launching something in 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's great, right? But I think I love that, right? Because you obviously didn't spend a huge amount of money and time.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people spend, years building a product, and then they launch it, and then they need to kind of change some things, right? And they're kind of upset by that because they spent a huge amount of time. And I love how you basically put out something as quick as possible and then kind of figured it out, right? And been kind of tweaking it since.
Yeah, and it's really counterintuitive because humans are continuously trying to provide ourselves with good emotions to make ourselves feel good. And so when you build something that is shit, I know Reid Hoffman says that if you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you've waited too long. Totally. But so you build something that by definition is not amazing because you've done it in the minimum amount of time. and then you push it out and you get all this feedback, like we're getting all the time now from experts. The product is broken, it's not doing this right, it's not doing this. But you have to sort of force yourself to do it anyway, because ultimately that's how you're going to build a product that is loved by the people that use it.
Totally. And I think it's also good when you launch early and you get your first kind of users and they start actually giving you feedback, they feel like they're almost building the product with you. And I think they're almost like more loyal instead of them finding you a couple of years later and they're just like, well, this is the feature set. This is what I got to use, right? Or have you found that at least?
It's really funny that you say that, because right now behind the Skype window, I have Facebook open in our expert mastermind group. We only have like 33 experts in there, right? But they've been brought into the community to help us and iterate. And when they have a problem, they post it in there and other people discuss and sometimes even solve each other's problems, which is good from a business point of view. But yeah, it's massive, absolutely massive. And now these people, hopefully, when we take on their feedback and make it better and help them, they'll become advocates and they'll bring other people into the community. But yeah, that's a massive thing. And you don't get that, or you can maximize that by pushing out products that may not be perfect.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. So let's dive a little bit deeper into Tina. You kind of gave it like a quick overview. How does it kind of work from, like if I'm looking to become like an expert, how does that work for me? And then how does it work for the user?
Sure. So we've experimented with this massively. We actually started with basically a live chat widget like Intercom that would sit on your personal blog of an expert. And then you could have chats that were paid per active minute. So if you think about Intercom, like the company usually pays a subscription to get that communication with their customers. We're just trying to flip that on its head. But then we sort of put it out and tested it on, we're getting like 3,000 loads of the Tina widget every day. But the customers were coming through and chatting. But then when it was suggested by the expert that they could jump on and pay per active minute, like there was a massive drop off in conversion. So we then thought, okay, a better sort of more high fidelity conversation could come through video or audio. So we then added video or audio. So a customer would come to the site, click on the widget, they could chat for free, and then jump onto a video audio call with automated pay per minute billing. But then we had this problem of building live chat software. It's actually quite complex. Like the software that you need to build to notify people when they have a chat, presence monitoring when they're offline and offline, online and offline. So we eventually, or right now, my partner's sort of finalizing the next iteration, which is ripping out the chat. And so now we just have this widget that will sit on the site of the expert, and then someone can jump onto a video or audio call where the first 1 or 2 minutes are free. And then if they would like, they can continue that with automated pay per minute billing. So that's going to be launched maybe tomorrow or Saturday, and then we'll see what the conversion rate is from customers to getting on call. And then if it's good enough, then we have a solid business. If the conversion rate is not good enough and we can't optimize it, then maybe we'll have to try and do something else. Got
you. Okay, but I love how like open and honest you are about this stuff, right? Like when you were on the radio show previously, and you know we had a pretty good open conversation about kind of everything you've been involved in and your thoughts on stuff. And so I love how you guys are just like putting this stuff out there, getting feedback, changing the direction, seeing what's working and not working, right? And then gathering feedback. I love that. I think that makes a lot of sense. So you kind of have 3 pricing models, or at least you're trying right now. Walk me through those and kind of how does the user use that?
Yeah, so that's actually going to switch out when we release this new version.
Oh, okay.
So we are actually going to have a free plan, right? And in the free plan, the icon at the bottom right of your site is just a Tina logo.
Gotcha.
And then you can jump onto a call and I think it's 15% commission we'll take. But on a pay plan, you replace Tina's face with your face. And then, so there's no branding. Also on the free plan, there's like the Tina link, right? In the widget after you've opened it. But if you're paying, I think the next plan is going to be just $15 a month, where your face would replace Tina's. There will be no link, and we'll take lower commission rate. And then there'll probably be another plan which is a bit more expensive with an even lower commission rate, and obviously no branding.
Got you. Okay. So you mentioned about building kind of a chat video client. Like, what are you using for that? Are you using kind of a backend? Are you building your own, or walk me through that?
Yeah. So I actually invited my partner onto this interview as well, but
Sure.
he was like deep in code, so he would be great to answer this. But I kind of understand. We're using WebRTC, so we're creating a peer-to-peer connection. Like if we're not using our servers for this video or audio call, but at the same time we can store that somehow in our database. I don't know exactly how that works, but from my understanding, WebRTC is this framework created by Google that they use for Google Hangouts.
Totally.
That is not that complex to add into any product that you have.
Okay, interesting. So can you use the Hangouts client, or you have to use your client, or both, or does it, or how does that work?
I'm not entirely sure what you mean by client, as I'm not technical, but
Okay. So did you build your own chat interface, I guess, then?
we build the chat
Okay,
interface,
and you're just using the backend. Got you. Okay, that makes sense.
and then we're actually going to be accepted onto an early beta test for a new Amazon product that converts audio data into text. So
interesting.
So as like, for example, if we are plugged into this Amazon thing that we're going to be adding soon, like there would be like a live updating text of it's like live transcription by a computer. That's going to allow us to store all of the conversations in text form as well, which we could probably do stuff with in the future.
That's awesome. So how did you get involved with that?
Only because, so as part of this accelerator, we've been introduced to sort of industry people, and
Sure.
a couple of the Amazon guys have come in, and we met them like 5 times. And then as this new thing was being launched, they just reached out, said, "Would you like to try this out?"
That's amazing. So through this accelerator that you're in, the guys at Amazon, obviously there's like from the London office or whatever,
Yep.
You came in person to the accelerator, or to you guys, or kind of a bit of both?
Yeah, so they came to the accelerator, and you could have like half an hour with them if you wanted.
Okay.
They offer you, I think, £100,000 of free credits on AWS.
Gotcha.
And they'd also, along with that, give you their time to advise on how they think stuff could work. And then we got on really well with them, and we were speaking to them quite a lot about, because we're using AWS. And then sort of they reached out when they were launching this new program.
That's awesome. So how are you guys funding this right now? Are you self-funding? Did you raise some money? Did you get some seed money?
Yeah, so we gave 8% of the company to Accelerator for £32,000.
Okay.
And now, in January, that's going to run out. So we're sort of in the process of raising a small seed round of 120,000 that would last us another year.
Oh wow, that's awesome. So how big is the team right now? Is it just yourself and a developer, or kind of how big are you guys right now?
It's myself and my partner James. We have an intern who sort of handles like the financial stuff and operations. He has like a background in banking. It's really useful because it's not my strong point. And then we have 2 virtual assistants that just do maybe like 4 hours a day in total, just like admin stuff. So whenever we have something that's like monotonous or boring, they are more than happy to do it, and they usually do like a better job than I would do. So that just makes us more productive, really.
Sure, I love that approach, because you guys have like obviously like the smallest team possible to get the most amount of work done, right? And so many people spend astronomical amounts like building this huge team to launch this product that could take months or years to build, where you guys just like launch this thing as quick as possible, keep this team as small as possible, and just, you guys are making these connections with like huge companies that try out their stuff in your platform. I think it's awesome, right? And it's kind of an inspiring story for people, right?
Thank you.
And I think the thing is people don't realize that you can do this stuff kind of how you guys are doing it, right? Like you don't need this astronomical amount of, just company stuff, right? To just get a product out there, especially when you're building a web product, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, it is really astounding how fast we've been able to pull together a working product. We've been able to do that, A, because of the talents of my partner, but also because of the tools that are out there. So we're using AWS, we're using another software for real-time messaging called Pusher, we're using like Auth0 or Auth0 for authentication. And so we're just taking all these little systems and like plugging them together. And it basically means he has to write a lot less code, and we have a product in like half the time as if we're building it from scratch.
Sure. No, I think that's really good advice. And like, you might rewrite parts of it down the road, or you might add other kind of code bases. It just see how the product plays out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think
What?
that's. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Like once we get like product market fit, that's when we can sort of raise more money, like build a bigger team to like make sure like the product is amazing.
Sure.
But before that, like you could potentially be wasting your time, right? So this is why you have to sort of get as lean as possible, MVP, right? They call it in the startup world, to reach that point, and then you sort of go for growth.
Sure. So, what's kind of next for Tina? Like you mentioned, you're rolling some stuff out in the next few days. Where do you kind of see the product a few weeks or a couple of months from now, or do you not really know yet?
Sure. So what's really going to come down to is when we release this new version, what is the conversion rate from someone landing on the website of an expert and up into like having a paid video call them, right? So that's what's really going to drive how the product is going to evolve. And so what the next month is about is purely launching the product, buying as many experts as we can through content marketing and Facebook ads, and then measuring that conversion. If the conversion, like we'll plug it into our projections and that conversion rate is favorable, then we're going to sort of pile more time into improving the product and buying more experts. If it doesn't seem like it's going to work, then we'll probably try and optimize that conversion rate a little bit or invest some time doing that. And then if we can't optimize it, then we'll have to sort of try a different method of collecting all this data.
Got you. Okay. So you're basically testing new stuff for about a month-ish, it sounds like, right? Before you decide, is this working or not working?
Yeah. Like in a month, we'll know if the conversion rate is favorable with the current like optimization flow, which is just like click on the widget, start a call, after a minute, add payment details. So that's like the current flow. There are probably other things that we can do that may optimize that. But in a month, we'll see if that sort of basic flow is going to work for us as a business.
Got you. Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. So we're kind of coming to the end of the show. Do you want to maybe close with mentioning where people can get more information about yourself and Ask Tina online?
Yeah, sure. So homepage is asktina.io. And if you have any questions about startup stuff, like I have what we didn't mention, I don't think, because I spent 4 years like selling stuff online.
Yeah.
Loads of different stuff. So I have some background in growth online marketing. So if anybody here has any questions about that, you can just tweet me at TomHuntIO, and I would be more than happy to help out.
Perfect. Well, Tom, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to be on the show again, and I look forward to keeping in touch with you. And by the sounds of it, we should probably do another one of these at some point and see where you've taken Tina.
Sure. Of course, Kevin, I really appreciate you having me on. And yeah, I think we definitely should in like 3 months.
I'm curious to see where you guys go in that period of time, right? Because I think you were on the radio show probably 3 or 4 months ago, and just how far you guys have come in that short period of time has been, interesting to kind of watch, right? And so I'm sure you'll be in a totally new space with a bunch of new features in that a period of time, right? That's great.
Exactly. Fast iteration.
No, I love it, man. I love it. All right, man. Well, you have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.